Hey everybody, it's the coach. This is the NFL on EA Sports. Straight ahead, we've got a good one in store between the Mexico City Golden Eagles and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'll have scores around the league for you at the half, but it's time for a little football. So we'll hand it over to our broadcast team, Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
We are just across the Allegheny River from downtown Pittsburgh at rain-soaked Heinz Field in the Steel City. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Mexico City Golden Eagles and the Pittsburgh Steelers. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Charles, we look at this Steeler ball club entering play. They come in losers of 2 straight, so they're trying to right the ship here a little bit.
They're teetering a little bit, aren't they? And now things could really go south if they lose this game, so they understand the importance of playing well and stopping this streak.
Meanwhile, for Mexico City, our visitors, they've got to be pleased with the start to this season. Obviously, a perfect 3-0.
3 good quality wins, too. It's got people in the locker room excited. They're thinking that this could be their year.
Fall is in the air, and the NFL season is in full swing, and we're underway here in Week 4. That's fielded in the end zone. And he won't return this one. He'll go down to a knee, and they'll start at the 25. So the Steelers offense getting set for their first drive. And they're led out by a guy who learned from one of the great ones in his first few years in Tom Brady. This is Jimmy Garoppolo.
When you're back up to one of the all-time great players, if you don't spend time picking that guy's brain or just watching and observing how he does things to increase your game, then you've wasted that time. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is that type of a player. I think those lessons learned have a chance to transmit themselves very well.
Now a first carry for Latavius Murray. And that is the kind of tackling they want to see all game as he'll lose yardage to start things out. Call it a loss of 2 on the play. And it'll be 2nd and 12.
I like the strategy. Extra tight ends, extra beef. They want to run the football, but that means they probably want to run it inside. If you get strung out on the perimeter, you're in peril.
Yeah, we saw the result, negative yardage. So the opening play of the drive goes backwards. Now they'll come up on 2nd and 12. A run, it's Murray. And right away, he lost the football. It's going the other way. And he'll take this back down inside the 20. And hopefully for both sides, not a sign of things to come, Charles. This morning, it was so perfect outside, but we knew this weather was coming, and we see the effects of it here early on.
And I wonder if how perfect it was this morning has psychologically fooled everyone. You know, it's almost like even though we were told the weather was coming, and you know the teams knew it as well, then maybe they got fooled and thought, it's going to be okay. And now they're probably a little upset that it's out there
because
raining.
Warm-ups were dry.
Oh, well, dry, and now you've got to make the change up, and it's the first quarter. Might take them a little time to settle in on their focus and concentration.
Opening minute, and already a trip to the red zone. 1st and 10 at the 19. Benjamin's got it. The completion good for 3, and it's 2nd down.
Defensively here, you're facing a top 5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL. So when they're that high-powered, you've got to find a way to hold them under 20. Because to me, that's the magic number. 20 points scored gives yourself your best chance to win.
So if they're up around 24, 28, 30, they could be in some trouble.
And I think so, because then you turn it into a shootout, and that means your offense has to keep pace.
And he's going to be brought down just shy of the 5 at the 6. 9 yards on the play there, and it sets him up 1st and goal.
Brandon, I think we can see early on they're making a concerted effort to get him the football. So to me, that means they like the matchup that they have. They feel like he's better than the guys that are covering him.
2 plays, 2 passes. We'll see if they go back to that well.
Ready. 10-2 stop.
Watch the pass.
Operating from the gun, Mendoza. Completes it to Benjamin. And Benjamin seems to be in some pain. You see him there, still down. While the training staff takes a peek, we'll take a break.
On the double.
They'll look to run with Freeman. And he is into the end zone for a touchdown. Devontae Freeman, his 4th touchdown on the year, as his guys are able to strike first here in this opening quarter. And nothing special there. They show they were going to run the football. They ran it. They got it in.
Like old-time football, right? Hey, this is exactly what we're going to do. Straight-ahead power, and they got it done.
Will Lutz on for the point after. And we'll see if this rain affects the team's decisions going forward, but they kick it here, and it's good. So that drive, 4 plays, and it ends in a touchdown run from Devontae Freeman. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he won't return this one. He'll go down to a knee, and they'll start at the 25. Pittsburgh's offense now heading back out onto the field. And they had the fumble last time that led to a touchdown. That's a no-no. We'll see what they do here this go-around.
A big no-no. Put that in capital letters. Turning it over, the other team takes it down and scores. That can be a deflator for a football team. Now it's up to the offense to get back out on the field and pick things up.
Now they're out there. We'll see if they can pick those things back up. Now a fake on the give here as they try the run-pass option. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. Pittsburgh getting 16 yards there and also a first down.
You can see the time and effort and thought that they put into their passing game because it was evident right there. It looks like a simple pitch and catch, but you and I both know that they have planned for this and worked hard to make it happen.
One play has him up past the 40 already, and another 1st and 10. A shotgun snap for Garoppolo. And this one complete to Reed. That throw good for 4. It's 2nd down. And a peek now at the offense for Pittsburgh.
And I think we'll see a renewed sense of urgency out of this team this week because they have to make sure they don't waste this homestand. They had a home game last week, lost it. Now they've got the 2nd straight. They've got to take advantage of it, get a win before they head out on the road.
To throw again on 2nd down. Garoppolo. And he'll get it into enemy territory just across midfield at the 49. 6 yards the pickup, and that's a first down. The numbers for Thomas from last week's effort. 9 catches, 105 yards.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that he's off to a hot start here in this first month, and those are the kind of performances you expect to see going forward.
On first down, Murray. And that play goes nowhere. Taken down, losing yardage at the 50, right at midfield. It'll be a loss of a yard, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 11.
What an advantage having an elite guy in the middle of the defensive line because not only does he take up the space and let the linebackers run free, but he can also make plays himself, as we just saw there.
Here we go. What we got?
Now a run. This is Bilal Powell. And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line. The 2nd down play results in a loss of 2 yards. Well, last week he found his way in the backfield from that linebacker position for 4 tackles for a loss. Another one there first quarter.
Yeah, help me out because we watched tape together before this game. And we were watching what he did last week. Did that field tilt in his favor where he was just running downhill to plays? It certainly felt like it, didn't it? It felt like it on that play as well.
2 running plays go backwards. So what's the call on 3rd and 13 now? From the gun, it's Garoppolo. Gets this to a standout receiver, Thomas. And he gets this only to the 44-yard line. Not near enough to keep the drive alive. On fourth down, here's Brian Anger now to kick this one away. He punted 3 times in the loss last week as he sends this one away. So here are visitors to take over on offense. They have to be thrilled with that first drive. They got him the touchdown. Now they'll be looking to make it a 2-score advantage here on the road.
And you know they spent all week in practice, in meetings, talking about taking an early advantage. Being the road team, going up a score, that takes the crowd out of the game and puts some doubt in the minds of their opponents.
Now a play fake here on first down. Flushed out right. And he's got Edelman for the first time. That's complete. A big play on the catch and run, covering 34 yards.
Sometimes it's designed, and sometimes you just have to know when to leave the pocket and move and make something happen. And on that play, he was able to get on the run and was still accurate throwing the football.
So the big play gets him across midfield now for 1st and 10. Now it's the fullback. This is Kyle Juszczyk. And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8, 2nd and 2.
They've definitely established a rhythm on this drive, moving the ball quite well. And big man with football is an integral part of the whole thing.
Now Mendoza to throw on 2nd down. Buying time to his left. He's going to take off with it. And he gets it down a yard or 2 shy of the 30 before he's out of bounds. 5 yards on the scramble, and that's enough to pick up the first. Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. Mendoza from the gun, he'll throw. The throw taken in by Sims. And he gets it all the way down inside the 10 and mark him at the 5. A good pickup there, 26 yards.
One thing I can say pretty safely, that route is not called if you don't have a guy who can throw the ball and put some mustard on it. Because if you're going to lollipop it in the middle of the field, bad things usually happen. It takes a strong-arm guy who can rifle it in there, and they were able to successfully complete that one.
They come out here in the eye.
Check, watch 54, watch 54. Let's go.
They go play action here on 1st down. Eluding the pressure right. Toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that 1st down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him, got a couple more downs to play with.
They'll try and power it in with Juszczyk. And he will fight his way into the end zone for a touchdown. Kyle Juszczyk, his 5th touchdown now on the year. And his guys find a way to stretch that lead. Down on the goal line, you go to the big fella. The fullback delivers.
And in today's NFL, it's not often the fullback actually gets to carry the ball. Great spot for him, able to pound it in for a score.
Lutz will look to add the extra point. And it's good, and they have jumped out here to a quick 14-0 first quarter lead. A drive that time of 6 plays, and it's finished off with a 5-yard touchdown run. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And Pittsburgh getting set to take the field. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything, at least 3 points, get that 0 off the board. It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up 2nd down. A look there at the starters on the defensive side of the ball. They were terrific last week against Buffalo in that victory.
Anytime you can hold a team to less than 10 points, your expectation of winning that game is sky high. In fact, you'd absolutely be stunned to come away with a loss.
2nd and 6, just inside the 30. They run with Murray. And that play going absolutely nowhere as he's belted before he could get out of the backfield. They'll wind up losing 3 yards here. And just like that, it's 3rd down.
We think, Brandon, I like the intensity this defense is showing right here in these first few drives. They're not just holding the line because they're doing their job, but they're doing more than that, aren't they? They're getting a nice push into the offensive backfield.
And a great example right there for the loss on the tackle. Throwing is Garoppolo on 3rd down. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Von Miller in there for a milestone sack as that moves him past Hall of Famer Michael Strahan, who finished his career with 141.5. I was waiting for them to get there first because the momentum they carry from last week, unbelievable. They had a snowman, 8 sacks.
You were surprised that it took this long, and this isn't that long, truthfully. But here's the thing. If you've seen that on tape, your offensive line is going to have to ask for help. Tight end has to stay in. If you use a fullback, keep him in. Make sure you have extra people to try and keep your quarterback upright. Didn't work on that play.
Here's Brian Anger now, standing just about on his own goal line. It's taken to the 26. So possession goes over here on the punt. Meanwhile, taking a look at what's going on in KC. And the Chiefs have jumped out to an early lead in their ball game. Tom Brady, a first quarter touchdown pass in that one. The offense back out there at the line, ready for their next drive. They've got things going their way early. 14-0 lead and the football. 1st and 10. And they'll work this down to the 40-yard line. Tackled there. The drive starting play, a good one. Give him 19. And after his performance last week, everybody saw it. Unbelievable. You can expect a heavy dose of him again, I think.
Without a doubt. I mean, why wouldn't you? Because once you establish yourself that way, it's not just him, okay? It's his offensive line. It's the tight end. It's your wide receivers. Everyone now sharing in the load and sharing in the belief that if they do their job, they'll see another performance just like they saw the week before.
Back to throw. Mendoza. And he'll find Lashley there. It's complete. And he gets into the end zone for the touchdown. Jordan Lashley, his 4th touchdown on the year. And his guys are going to add on to their lead. I'll let you do the analysis, partner, but with every touchdown pass this young quarterback throws and with the success that his team has had, I just continue to be more and more impressed.
Let's both do the analysis. Impressed. Aren't we both?
Yeah.
I mean, and why shouldn't we be? We've seen him improve throughout the year. We've seen him settle in now, and you can see the confidence of the team has grown. His confidence has grown. I think that everyone around this guy feels good about what they've seen, and it's also safe for him when he's driving home to turn on Sports Talk Radio. He's okay.
A good hold in these wet conditions. The point after is up and good, and it's now 21-0. The long touchdown pass gets him 6 on a very, very tidy 2-play drive that time. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. That's fielded in the end zone. And he won't return this one. He'll go down to a knee, and they'll start at the 25. Out comes the Steeler offense now, ready to see what they can do here. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means they're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Well, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. Now a first down run is sniffed out from the start as they'll drop him for a loss of 4. They'll wind up losing 4 yards on the play, and that's going to make it 2nd and 14. That was shades of Tennessee Volunteer football back in the 80s with Charles Davis coming up from the secondary to make the tackle for a loss.
You mean my teammates doing that, right? Because they would tell you, my coach would say, where's that tape? I want to see that. But how about the complete package there? Not just playing the pass, but being a willing tackler and making a really nice play.
And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. The tally there, -2 yards, brings up 3rd down.
Perfectly designed blitz right there. They took that one from the grease board to the field because they were able to free up their linebacker to get into the backfield and spill the play.
So time to start going in the other direction as they come up now 3rd and long. Working from the gun, Garoppolo. And the throw there going to be incomplete.
And what did we talk with them about prior to the game? Their ability to move the chains, pick up first downs. So far, 0 for 3 on 3rd down. If that continues, they'll have little chance of winning this one.
And taken right on the 30. A good return there, 17 yards. Julian Edelman gets ready to take the field again here on offense. There's a lot of talk in training camp about him getting off to a hot start this year, saying that they needed that. Well, he's done it through the first month.
It kind of reminds me of one of those great musical groups where one person has their name out front, then they have the backups, right? He's the guy out front because the backups, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, but we're going to the headliner each and every time. And that's not easily done because, you know, all the defenses are kicking towards him right now. That means he's fighting his way through traffic, finding ways to get open, even when he's not supposed to be.
A really good pickup of 28 yards. Operating out of Steeler territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. Now the fullback, Juszczyk. And on this one, he'll get to the 15, right at the 15-yard line. 10 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be 2nd down. They still need about the length of the football here, maybe a little less as they come up on 2nd and inches. McCaffrey. And he'll take it into the end zone for a touchdown. Christian McCaffrey hitting double digits with his 10th touchdown of the season. And his guys find a way to stretch that lead. Now, first quarter, and this lead is already getting into dangerous territory. They better be careful on the other sideline.
Yeah, it feels a little bit more like a basketball game where one team is pressing and that team can't get the ball over half court. I mean, it is stealing it and scoring it, layups, the whole deal. That's what it feels like right now. They are all over them.
Lutz with the extra point, and the route is on here in this first half. The drive there only spanning 3 plays. And the last play on the drive, the touchdown run from Christian McCaffrey. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Pittsburgh's offense now heading back out onto the field. Typically down to the first half, I might say, oh, you at least need a field goal out of this drive, but they're down to the point where they need a touchdown, don't they?
Yeah, and normally, you know me. I mean, you've been around me for a while now, right?
Unfortunately.
I'm sorry about that. But normally, I'm the one preaching patience.
Yeah.
You know, take your time. First half, you still got a chance. I think they're out of patience here. This has to be a drive that gets a touchdown. So if you're the play caller, you're going to that portion of the sheet that says big-time plays, specials, anything you can use to get yourself back into it. I know coaches tell us all the time that having a powerful arm isn't the #1 thing they look for in a quarterback. But when you're trying to throw inside routes and you need to put some heat on it, it helps to have the big gun. In this case, just a little bit too much.
On second down now, it's Powell. Now a flag comes in from the umpire after a gain of about 4. And this looks like it's going to be holding. You need your wide receivers as blockers. Sometimes they get a hold.
The big runs are often a result of what they do on the perimeter. In this case, got caught holding, and this one will come back.
And again, the run defense stout this time. He maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage, but no more. He's already put it on the ground once in this first half. There, no gain, just struggling to get going.
Yeah, and what he needs right now, a dose of confidence, which means his guys have to chop a hole, a big one for him, give him a chance to run a little bit and gain some of that confidence back. He didn't get it on that carry.
We are in for a good one as we're through one on EA Sports. And the Steelers on third down, 0 for 3 to this point. They could use a conversion. This will be 3rd and 19. Looking to throw, Garoppolo. And that is incomplete.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything that warranted a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. Here's Brian Anger now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. Taken from just outside the 30. A very nice job on the run back there. He'll get 23 yards all told. And out will come the offense as they take over. Out comes Christian McCaffrey with the rest of the offense. First month of the season, those numbers pretty solid. Does he continue that?
I think so, because when you come out of the gate this strong, that means that you have planned for it and you like the results that you're getting. So I wouldn't have any doubt that the head coach, offensive coordinator, actually called him in and said, look, you're our guy, okay? We're going to continue to stick with this as long as we're winning games. You ready for the challenge? And then they presented it to the rest of the team. I think we'll see plenty of that as this season moves on.
And I'm sure he said challenge accepted. Call it a gain of 4 on first, and that'll make it second down.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable second down. A very solid gain on that play.
Now this one complete downfield on the left side. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. That one good for 26 and a first down.
Ready. 58, 58, Mike. You better bring it. You better bring it. I'm letting you know.
From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. And he's into the end zone for the receiving touchdown. A 16-yard touchdown as his guys continue to put this one out of reach.
A lot of times when you take a tight end in later rounds, you're doing it with a little bit of hope, some potential. But not so with this guy. They believe he can really make an impact in the red zone, and he definitely makes good on that faith right there.
Lutz to try to add the PAT. And he's been a busy man, 5 for 5 now as he knocks another one through to extend the lead. So they only needed 3 plays on that drive. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And the decision to bring it out will cost him about 5 yards as he'll get this only back to the 20. And our attention here turns to Latavius Murray. He's just been looking for some space. I'm not going to pin it on him or the offensive line, but they need to get this run game going better.
Sometimes you just have to credit the defense. They came in with a plan themselves. So I think now you try and mix things up a little bit. Get the ball in the hands of some other people, find some other playmakers, but always let the defense believe that he's still a threat.
I was going to say, don't forget about him.
No, don't take him totally out of the game.
Throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete. Fair to say, hasn't been his best game throwing the football, but also not getting a lot of help out there either.
Yeah, you nailed it pretty well, you know. He's got to throw it better. Got to get more help. Obviously one that should have been caught. They've got to find a way to bring those two elements together so they can make some progress in this one.
It's a gain of 6. Makes it 3rd and 4.
These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. Now Garoppolo, nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Von Miller in there yet again. What else is new? He continues to rewrite the record book in single-season sacks.
He's the NFL sack leader coming into the game, and now that's 2 more that he's added to his total.
He wants some separation from spot 1 and 2 in that sack category. Here's Bryan Anger now as he's on for the 5th time here today. And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away. And he fields it cleanly. So a change of possession here on the punt. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. Out comes Christian McCaffrey with the rest of the offense. A good job in the passing game, decent job in the running game, but really they've been more effective through the air. We'll see if that shifts at all as this goes on.
Thus far, it feels like they're calling this game in reverse. Normally you run to set up the pass. Here it feels like they're passing, hoping to set up the run and be more effective later on in the game.
Yeah, you can do it both ways. We usually talk about it in the reverse, however.
No doubt about it.
This drive starting off on the right foot, 18 yards.
Tremendous blocking by the interior of the offensive line. They didn't just gash him there. They blasted a gaping hole for him to gallop through. I think if he comes back to the huddle, he better be giving them a whole lot of credit and thanking them for that much space to rumble.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10.
Keep it up, defense. Keep it up.
To throw is Mendoza, operating from the gun. This one complete to Devontae Freeman. And touchdown! Devontae Freeman with his 2nd touchdown of the game and 5th on the year as his guys continue to pour it on. Well, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but his top 2 options were not available on that throw, so he went the safe route, worked out pretty well.
It was like you were in the pocket. How about you going through the progressions like that? What a lot of offenses say, touchdown to check down. Look downfield first, bring it back to the line of scrimmage. Not easy for a rookie to do. Oftentimes they get 1 look, and they make their decision off of that. He went through 3. That was impressive.
Lutz will look to add the extra point. And the route is on here in this first half. Pretty clean and simple there. Just 2 plays. The long pass resulting in the touchdown on play number 2. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And the decision to come out is going to cost him 5 as he's taken down right at the 20. Latavius Murray getting set to go again. They've given him some touches. They haven't had a lot of success on the ground. Do you maybe keep going to that well, or do you mix it up more?
I think you mix it up more, try and loosen things up. Get the defense to react to other people, other plays, but don't forget about it. That's your horse. You know, Secretariat lost twice in his career.
So educational. That's very true, kids. Look it up. Garoppolo now, first down throw. And he finds the tight end, Reed. The completion good for 3, and it's second down.
Well, they're unable to convert that into much, but it's never a bad idea to try to get the ball into a tight end of his caliber's hands and see what kind of disruption he can cause.
That first down completion only netted him 3. Second and 7. This is Murray. And running room scarce here. He's going to be stopped in his tracks at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play there, so they're left with a 3rd down and 6. These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here. A 50-50 ball here, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Dane Cruikshank, and his crew will take over at their own 45-yard line. And he may want to track down that football because that's interception number 1 on his career.
You're saying that's going into the trophy case?
I'd put it there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That's when you ask the equipment guys to make sure they hold it for you after the game. But if you play in the back 7 on defense, that's part of your job, finding ways to take the ball away from the other team.
Out comes Christian McCaffrey with the rest of the offense. We're in the second quarter. They've got the lead. The lead, though, not so much because of the ground game, because of their air attack, Charles.
So what they're seeing so far is the possibility of things loosening up later in the ground game. Through the air first, maybe they have to start respecting that even more as the game goes on, and then there will be running lanes to find later.
Yeah, try to get him more involved here on this drive, maybe. Meanwhile, they take a shot to start the drive, but this is going to wind up incomplete. After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. No, he doesn't have it. Maybe some alligator arms there going over the middle. 3rd down.
Right up to that point, I was about to say he's had a pretty good half catching the football, but let's just be honest about it. He should have caught that one.
And he knows that. That was one right in his breadbasket and one he normally catches. He's got his man on the crossing route. And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30. 23 yards, the final tally. And with that completion, he's now north of 200 yards here in the first half. Boy, a tough start for the secondary defensively.
It is, and it's got to put a dent in their confidence. And, you know, you always want to keep that up and feel like you can always bounce back after plays. But with the kind of numbers he's putting up here, it's starting to wear on them a little bit, I think. So they're looking at each other and trying to figure out what defense will work and how can they play better without getting beat deep for big passes.
From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. This is McCaffrey. Miles Jack there to make the tackle.
Not much happening there on 1st down.
I thought there might have been a hole for a split second.
Yeah, but it dried up pretty quickly, didn't it? Closed fast.
Mendoza now looking to throw on 2nd down. And it's caught. Touchdown. In for the score as his guys continue to put this one out of reach. So that's the rookie's first trip to the end zone, and I think it's safe to say one he'll always remember.
Oh, without a doubt. That one is going to be imprinted forever. And nowadays, we're seeing rookies make a greater impact at that position at receiver than ever before. I think mainly because of the sheer volume of footballs that they catch in college.
Lutz to try to add the PAT. And the route is on here in this first half.
Makes the score Golden Eagles 49.
5 plays there on that drive. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he'll get it up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. Here comes Jimmy Garoppolo now to lead his offense back out there. In the second quarter, they're down big already. He's struggling as well. They've got to find something here. He's got to find something on this drive.
And sometimes you take on all that extra pressure on yourself, and maybe you have to disperse it a little bit. Lean on some other people, lean on your teammates. Find someone who can take the pressure off and get the ball in their hands for a while.
Or this, if he doesn't, this is getting out of hand, or it could get worse. Meanwhile, this one knocked down in the backfield. It's incomplete. So after the incompletion, 2nd and 10 from the 22. Garoppolo. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Von Miller able to disrupt yet another pass play. That is his 3rd sack of the afternoon.
That's 3 sacks now. That's not much of a surprise to me, nor should it be to you. This team, they lead the league in sacks.
Yeah, they do. This is something that we are starting to witness time and time again. So the sack of Garoppolo. And now what can they come up with on 3rd and long? Throwing now is Garoppolo. And that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up 4th down. Throwing the football, he's not as sharp as he was last week when he was over 70%. Right now, he's under 50%.
Well, that comes from extra game film, extra time. You know those guys watched him all week, saw how precise he was, and constructed a defense to try and chip away at that, and thus far they've been successful.
Anger is on to punt, and he gets this one away. Fielded at the 33. A terrific return there, 27 yards all told. And this offense, they're going to have excellent field position. They take over with a 1st and 10 on the short side of the field. Out comes Christian McCaffrey with the rest of the offense. The passing game, they've had more success there than the running game. Maybe something they game plan for.
How come they didn't tell us about it?
Because they wanted to keep it a secret.
We did ask, didn't we? But I think what happened in this one is they've realized that they've established the run pretty well, and teams are going to key on that. They thought they could open it up and have success through the air, and that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah, they've had success, at least so far here in the second quarter. They will get 4 yards here on the 1st down run, and that'll make it 2nd and 6. Tackle made there by Jordan Hicks. And here's Mendoza to throw on 2nd down. And he will find his big tight end over the middle. And they move this all the way down to the 9. That'll be marked as a 27-yard pickup. And with that last play, he's now up over that 300-yard mark.
And in today's NFL, it almost feels routine. And I hate that when you talk about a 300-yard passing game. To me, 300 yards still signifies excellence, and he's achieved that in this performance.
60 Pittsburgh. Wild Bill, Wild Bill. Let's go.
And that one taken in by Lashley. And he's able to get it down to the 2-yard line. A gain of 7 that time. Second and goal. From the 2 now, second and goal.
53, Mike, 53.
And a flag comes in as that one falls incomplete.
Ineligible receiver.
Well, let's see who this is on.
Offense.
Something we're seeing more of with the rise of the run-pass option. A legal man downfield, and that's going to back him up. An incomplete pass on first down. Here's second and goal.
Watch the pass. Watch the pass. Here we go. Here we go. Speed grip.
Out of the gun, they give to Freeman. And he will fight his way into the end zone for a touchdown. Devontae Freeman on his way to a monster game. 3 first-half touchdowns as his guys continue to pour it on. So he's in for his 3rd score of the game, and the defense probably saying, man, we don't want to see this guy for a long time.
It's bad enough when anyone scores a touchdown against you, but for one person to get 3, it almost sets him apart from the rest of the game, and no one likes to see any of those players on a pedestal, not from the defensive point of view.
Lutz will look to add the extra point. And the route is on here in this first half. Just a 4-play drive that time. And it ends in a touchdown run from Devontae Freeman. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. This is fielded at the goal line. And he'll take this up past the 20 and down at the 22-yard line. Michael Thomas now heading back onto the field. You would have to think they're going to make it more of a priority to get him the football. You're losing here in the second quarter, and he's been really quiet.
I think all we have to do, and it's too bad we can't actually see the actual play sheet now from the coordinator, because he's looking down at that and saying, okay, do I put him in different spots? Do I try and isolate him? What routes do I run? You're exactly right. They've got to get the ball in his hands and get their offense kick-started.
He does have the 2 catches, but pretty quiet so far. And they work this well upfield across the 45. Called that a very strong gain of 24. It's been a very one-sided game so far. They got to change what they're doing right now, don't they? You can't wait till the halftime speech to make an adjustment.
No, you can't, because if you're doing it right, you're adjusting from series to series, and they need a big adjustment here to try and put some points on the board.
A big hitter to start the drive has him up near midfield here for 1st and 10.
Hey, let's go. Let's calm crowd.
Murray, and he still has yet to get on track in this first half as they're going to stop him behind the line. That's going to wind up a loss of a full 3 yards on first down.
Well, we just saw a great example of what we talked about with his coach prior to the game. He's definitely one of the better linebackers at reading a play and flowing to make the stop before it turns into something big.
Here we go. Wait, 80! Don't get nervous.
Now on 2nd and 13. Garoppolo going to throw right side here, complete. And they're well past midfield, just a yard or 2 shy of the 40. The Steelers picking up 15 yards there and a first down.
Completion was given up, but that's why you play zone defense, so that you can have people around the ball when it's caught, and you don't give up much run after the catch.
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10.
Bring it.
Garoppolo now. And he's going to be sacked. They sack him back right at the midfield stripe. Demario Davis. The blitz works to perfection as he gets in there to dump him for a loss of 8. Sacks a growing theme in this first half. This is 2nd and long. 2 minutes remaining in this first half of football. And we'll remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll join Jonathan Coachman and the gang in Orlando. Coach will have stats and scores from the early games going on here around the NFL. Now a deep ball there on 2nd down, but it'll wind up incomplete. The target that time, Michael Thomas. And it's 3rd down.
This defense has been very disruptive early on as they force another one to go awry.
Seems to be the front and the back end. Pass rush, they've been able to get home, and they're taking the ball away in coverage as well.
I love how you put it together. The front and back working in sync, only way to play good defense.
And now the 3rd down throw incomplete as well. What a difference a week makes. Last week he hit on over 80% of his passes. This week he's down under 50%. What do you see as the difference?
Well, I think we're used to seeing a drop. If someone's over 80%, they're not going to hold that number, not in this league. But a drop under 50%, that just tells me that the defense has spent a lot of extra time on game films and came up with a really good plan to try and chip away at his timing.
Out comes Christian McCaffrey with the rest of the offense. And he's well on his way to a 100-yard game. He's already more than halfway there. We're only in the 2nd quarter.
And what I've always loved about running backs is they'll tell you, I had no idea how many yards I had.
Right.
Those guys have an innate sense of where they are in a ball game and how many yards they've accumulated because you know they're always working towards 100.
He's been working well towards 100 here. So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. Now Mendoza throwing to start the drive. He's got him in, complete. It's Julian Edelman. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. First play of the drive going for 14 and also going for a 1st down. Mendoza throwing on 1st down. Now he steps away. And now he's going to use his legs. And he'll be brought down right on the 50. A gain of 3.
Yeah, he only gets a few yards on 1st and 10, but he's better off doing that than throwing an incompletion or even worse, an interception.
From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. He rifles one that's intercepted. It's the former Seahawk, Earl Thomas. And he will take this all the way up past the 40-yard line. That's not one that he's going to want to remember, but he had to get it out of the way at some point, his first career interception.
And if he's the guy that they think he is, he's not laughing it off, but he's also not going to let it affect him as the game proceeds. He's going to go back out there, still be the same confident kid, the reason that they drafted him, and go out and play.
Looking to complete it to Pettis, and he's got him. Now the Steelers use the first of their 3 timeouts as they stop it here with just under 40 ticks to go in this first half. Here's Garoppolo on 1st and 10. Under pressure, and he will go down. Sacked back at the 46. They come up on 2nd and long, and the pass protection just has not been there this afternoon. Looking to throw, Garoppolo. And this one complete to Reed. That catch good for 5. It's 3rd down. Now the Steelers going to use their 3rd and final timeout as the clock will stop with 20 seconds to go in the first half. They had the catch on 2nd down, but it didn't help at all, and now they're looking at 3rd down here. A shotgun snap for Garoppolo. And that is incomplete. 16 seconds now on the clock.
This defense is not going to make it easy for you. They're a physical group, and we just saw it there on that play. He came in, made the contact, just as he's trying to haul it in.
And the punt team on now as this one's sent away. The offense now at the line, ready for their next drive. And with time quickly fading here in the second quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys.
Now that'll be tipped and intercepted. It's the former Seahawk, Earl Thomas. And his guys have got it back at the closing stages of the first half.
Here we go.
The Pittsburgh offense at the line to start their next drive. Time here for likely one play, then off to the locker room, and they're going to have some adjustments to make.
They certainly will, and I think a lot of people are thinking to themselves, all right, take the knee, get out of here, regroup. But how will the head coach and his staff approach halftime? Will it be angry? Will it be clinical? Will they be calm? Will they just let it all out? Who knows? I'd love to be a fly on the wall for this one, though.
All right, Brandon, we'll get back to you guys We'll get started out at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. And it's the Chiefs who have the lead in the second quarter. Tom Brady, sharp as ever. He's got 2 touchdown passes. From there, we head east to Baltimore to check on the Ravens at home at M&T Bank Stadium. And this one going the visitors' way, as the Texans have the lead in that one. Traquan Smith, a touchdown reception. Lastly, let's get you to MetLife Stadium to see what's happening with the Giants at home in East Rutherford. And that game all even as they host the visiting Philadelphia Eagles. Meanwhile, in our game, it's been a back-and-forth first half. Who can put it together in the second half? For the answer, we turn it back over to our broadcast team of Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. Forecast calling for more of the same. The rain set to continue as we are underway in the second half. And a good return. He's across the 35-yard line, right around the 36. So here are visitors to take over on offense. They had a big first half. Now they have a chance to add to that lead here in the opening possession of the second half.
And everyone always asks about halftime adjustments, kind of the key phrase. What did you do at halftime? Well, the way they ran offense in the first half, I think they were very calm, congratulatory, but also what they were saying is don't expect them to be the same on defense. They'll be the ones making the adjustments. Let's see what they do, and we'll attack accordingly.
And we'll see how they attack here. That one goes for 24 yards. Those are the kinds of plays right there that show you why he's the number 3 man in the NFL in terms of receiving yards.
Also tells you there's a full combination of what he's got going in his game. You name it, from route running to catching the football. That's why he's able to produce those types of numbers.
And he's got this down almost to the 20 before he's dropped. That's over 40 yards of movement with those last 2 plays. Back-to-back good plays have him on the move on first down. Off play action. Mendoza. This is caught. And he'll be taken down at the 2-yard line. That is now 19-yard gains on back-to-back plays. 2 big plays in succession. Not sure this D knows what hit him, but now they got to get ready. It's 1st and goal. Looking to throw. Mendoza. And it's caught. Touchdown. Kyle Juszczyk with his 2nd TD of the game, his 6th on the year, as his guys continue to put this one out of reach. Solid response that time by a young quarterback. Last drive, interception. This drive, the touchdown pass.
I like how you described it, solid, because you don't get extra kudos for bouncing back if you're going to be a big-time quarterback. You're supposed to do that. But at the same time, when you're a rookie, that's not guaranteed, is it? Sometimes they hang their heads and they go in the tank a little bit. Not in this case. Bounced back, took his team downfield, and threw a touchdown pass.
Lutz good on the extra point, and that will extend this big lead.
Will Lutz set to kick off.
After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Time for the Steelers offense now to get set for their first possession of half number 2. They trail offense, first time to touch the ball in quarter 3, and we'll see what they can do.
And I can't wait to see what they have planned, because some teams script to start a half. Other teams just go, okay, these are the sequence of plays we want to run. These things worked well for us. And sometimes they throw in that big chunk play right away.
Shocker.
Try and get after them early and try and create a big play to give themselves some momentum.
See what they have up their sleeve. They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line. To throw is Garoppolo. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down.
This has been a tough one for this offensive line. It appears almost like they've been on roller skates this entire game, the way they've been pushed around. 6 sacks given up in this one.
So the sack of Garoppolo. And now what can they come up with on 3rd and long? From the gun, it's Garoppolo. And the pressure gets to him again. Von Miller, my goodness, make that now 5 sacks for him in this ball game. Really turning in an incredible performance.
It's been a tough one all game long for this offensive line. They're already down big, and now you know they're just going to come after the quarterback in a big way, don't you?
Yeah, they just can't get out of their own way right now. It's created an avalanche, and an avalanche is coming right on top of them. Here's Brian Anger now as he's on to punt for Pittsburgh. Returnable here from the 38. So here are visitors to take over on offense. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked, but you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
This is Freeman on 1st and 10. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9. Now it appears we have a Steeler here slow to get up. While the trainers take a look, we'll step aside. The run only got a yard. Here's 2nd and 9.
Hey, watch the ball, watch the ball.
Another run, this time McCaffrey. And he's got some space here. And all the way in for the touchdown. Christian McCaffrey with touchdown number 2 in the game and now 11 on the year as his guys continue to pour it on. He's having a nice little game. Maybe already has an eye on that 3rd touchdown.
And how about what our producer, Christian McLeod, likes to say when they've scored touchdowns like this? He's put a tent up in Touchdown City.
Lutz to try to add the PAT. And the lead grows even larger here in the 3rd quarter. So 2 plays on that scoring drive. That's how they drew it up. And the long run into the end zone, and what a run it was. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. That's fielded in the end zone. And he won't return this one. He'll go down to a knee, and they'll start at the 25. And Pittsburgh getting set to take the field. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Von Miller in there to get him again. That is sack number 6, one off the NFL record of 7.
Well, that play was the very definition of fast, quick, and in a hurry. Suddenly, he was there.
Yeah, blink of an eye, that happened fast, and a big sack. Protection certainly going to need to be a bit better here on 2nd and 16.
Hey, you don't want to see me.
Garoppolo looks to throw. And he's going to go down again. Von Miller in there for the 7th time in this game alone, and that ties him with the late Derek Thomas for the most sacks ever in a single game.
So, Brandon, we've sat in with a lot of coaches, and when they talk about things they want to accomplish offensively, I'm not sure that sack and sack are on their play sheet.
After the sack, they'll come up now 3rd and long.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them run the ball here just to try and get some space.
I'm coming after you.
No run call here. They'll look to throw instead. Dumps off to Powell. And he'll get it up here this time to the 21. They get 13, but it's not nearly enough. And it'll be 4th down. So they wind up throwing it against your advice, but the result's still a 4th down.
Well, it did turn out to be a safe throw. And you know how sometimes coaches talk about using short passing game as a run? Essentially, that's what they did there. Now they can kick it away.
Here's Brian Anger now as he's on to punt for Pittsburgh. He'll look to set up his blockers. 12 yards on the return that time. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. So here are visitors to take over on offense. They've really distanced themselves. They have put the pedal to the metal, I guess, so to speak.
So definitely have them in the rearview mirror, don't they? I mean, you're exactly right. Being able to string together these drives that end up in points, it's almost like a run in basketball to create that distance, and they're on a really big-time run right now.
It becomes contagious, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, because oftentimes it translates to your defense as well, because they're excited about getting the ball back for their offense that's playing so well.
Well, they are clicking right now.
He's a rookie, and you don't want to get hung up on the word potential, but when you see him make catches like that, you keep thinking to yourself, he's good now. He's got a chance to be great with plenty of work.
He's going to look deep for Edelman. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete. Julian Edelman, the intended receiver, and it's 2nd down. So after the incompletion on 1st, now 2nd and 10. To throw is Mendoza. Off the play fake. Forced out to his left. He's got the 1st down here inside the 30. And they're going to have themselves another 1st down as the tackle's made at the Steelers' 28.
Looks to me, partner, like he's learned a little bit, because earlier in the game, I think he was trying to force a lot of throws into some windows that just weren't open.
Yeah, the interceptions had plagued him, especially a 2nd interception, really a bad throw, so maybe a better decision there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think he learned from earlier in the game, and he's applying it now.
Yep. Go 58's the mic. So we got man. Go.
Mendoza now on 1st and 10. He's got Freeman here. It's complete. And he's brought down, but not before he reaches the 8-yard line. Chewing up big yardage. Another nice gain there. This one goes for 20. Looked like a pretty good, safe play right there. No, he's had trouble with the interceptions in this game there. Hits his guy out in the flat.
Yeah, so many times we hear quarterbacks and offensive coordinators talk about in your progressions, you're either throwing the touchdown or you're throwing the check down. But earlier in the game, it was touchdown or interception. Now he got to the check down, a nice safe throw and a good one.
And the ball smack dab on the 5-yard line. Here's 2nd and goal. 2nd and 5. Toward the pylon, caught. That time the completion goes for 4 yards, and we're set up with a 3rd and goal.
I think it's okay there. They didn't get a whole lot on that play, but it's nice to have a safety valve that's built like this guy. Big target, guy you can spot pretty easily. Put it on him when your other targets aren't open.
They were looking to pass the ball there, but they forgot to account for the man with the football.
Yeah, I can hear people right now saying, well, why don't you have a spy in your defense, someone who will dance with him and go where he goes? Well, oftentimes if you utilize a spy, you've taken away someone in coverage as well. And oftentimes, the spy, not as athletic as the guy he's trying to keep up with, so he gets defeated anyway.
And he turns 3rd and goal into a touchdown. Lutz will look to add the extra point. And the lead grows even larger here in the 3rd quarter. So this drive spans 7 plays. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Pittsburgh's offense now heading back out onto the field. They've got to dig down deep. I mean, they need something right now, really anything to cling on to. This offense has struggled.
Partner, join me in a walk to their locker room at the half, okay? Because I think what we would have seen is an offensive coordinator and his assistant coaches getting together with all their positions, then coming together as a group, going over adjustments.
Now Garoppolo lost the football, and this will be scooped up by the defense. And they take over already 5 yards deep into the red zone at the 15-yard line. And maybe that one caused by the weather. Of course, the rain coming down. Charles, can you maybe, when you're carrying that football, grip it too tight in the rain?
I think that you can, and it's such a delicate balance, too, because when you grip it so tight, sometimes it'll slip out from your body. You squeeze it too hard, and it'll pop out on its own. I've actually had running backs talk to me about that when they've tried too hard, even in perfect conditions, the ball gets away from them. They've got to find that good balance, carrying it firmly, yet at the same time under control.
And he's going to go down. He's sacked back at the 24. Miles Jack with a sack.
It's interesting, partner, that most defenses try and guard the 35-yard line actively because they think the way kickers are nowadays, about a 52-yard field goal, they're kind of giving up points. But you get even deeper into territory, you get into the red zone, they're going to guard it even more, which means more pressure, more blitzing.
So that complicates things a bit here. 18 yards to go now on 2nd down. They try to throw on 2nd down, but this one is incomplete. He was waving his arms, wanted the football, but he dropped it. And that reminds me of a story you told me from your days at Tennessee. We don't need to mention the other guy's name, but when he dropped an open pass that you blew coverage on, what did you say to him?
Yeah, it's really not right since I blew coverage, but since he dropped the pass, I said, well, maybe next time he'll just walk it out here and hand it to you. Would that be easier? He wasn't real thrilled with that.
That's cold-blooded. Cold-blooded. Now throwing on 3rd down there, but he cannot connect. And how about this? 4th and long, and they're going to go for it. Back to throw. Mendoza flush to his right. And he will take it in for the touchdown. Julian Edelman, his 3rd touchdown now on the year. And his guys capitalize on the short field as they take it in for 6.
Brandon, is there any way you and I can join this quarterback in the zone he's in? He's absolutely feeling it. Touchdown after touchdown, throwing the ball.
Lutz to try to add the PAT. And the lead grows even larger here in the third quarter.
Makes the score, Golden Eagles 84.
A drive there of just 4 plays.
Will Lutz set to kick off.
After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The defense once more getting set to do battle as they head back out. They recovered the fumble last time. 3 turnovers for them in this game. They've been, that word opportunistic comes to mind, right?
Exactly right. And you know guys on defense, they say the turnovers, the offensive guys call them turnovers. We call them takeaways. We go get them. And that's exactly what they've done in this game.
The former DB making sure you know their takeaways on the defense.
Takeaways, man.
Now a first down run is going nowhere. He's going to be dropped in the backfield, a loss of 2. This will be a 2-yard loss on the play. And that'll make it 2nd and 12. Up front, the struggles continue for this offense among the line. What can they do? Change the play calling? What?
I think part of that, yes, changing some of the play calls, some screens, some draws, some misdirection. You want to run any type of a play that will influence these guys to continue to get upfield and find a way to use that against them and slip things in behind them. So some quick passes could work as well.
And they're going to get him behind the line yet again as his nightmare afternoon continues. The second down play, not much better than the first, just a gain of 1 there. These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. Working from the gun, Garoppolo. And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete. Coverage there by Kevon Seymour. They have not gotten him going at all. Tried to spark something there with a longer throw, unable to complete it.
But you have to keep trying. He's one of their best playmakers. No matter what it says on the scoreboard, you're always trying to get him the football.
Fielded at the 20. A good return there. Call it 13 yards. So here are visitors to take over on offense. They are just putting things together so well here, drive after drive. They really have captured the momentum, haven't they?
They've taken momentum and pretty much not just given him a jersey, but a seat on the bench as well. Whatever do you need, you've got it, because the way they're stringing things together and creating that distance between them and their opponent is really hard to narrow that gap. And the other part is they're taking their spirit away from them, too.
Yeah, now they're just looking to add to that total. They run on first down as they're able to get this forward for about 4. They give him 4 yards there. It'll be 2nd and 6.
Third quarter and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
2nd and 6. Escaping the pressure right. Looking for Edelman, and he hits him. It's complete. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. A big play on the catch and run, covering 34 yards.
Well, partner, I'm not sure how this drive's going to end, but how about the way they flip field position there? A nice attacking play. They picked up a heck of a chunk of yardage.
So now then, the big play has them all the way inside the 30 now, 1st and 10.
Ready, ready.
On the ground, McCaffrey. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. He'll wind up losing a yard on the play, and it'll be 2nd and 11. And here's Mendoza looking to throw on 2nd down. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And finally, down he goes as they work it inside the 10 to the 7. Last play, they got stuffed at the line. Different story here, over 20 yards.
Mike 58, right there. Watch the screen.
Now Mendoza from the gun, he'll throw. And it's caught. Touchdown. Devontae Freeman there to make the grab as his guys continue to put this one out of reach.
I know Paul Revere talked about by land or by sea, right? You know, 1 by land, 2 by sea. He didn't mention air because right now we're seeing a big-time performance, aren't we? That's 2 touchdowns so far in this game.
Where'd you pull that one from?
And, you know, every now and then I actually listened in history class.
And you're just a scholar all the way around. You're reading all the time. I like that you fit that into the broadcast.
You know, I just grab a nugget when I can.
Lutz will look to add the extra point. And the lead grows even larger here in the 3rd quarter. And that is going to do it for this 3rd quarter of action. And that'll do it for the end of the 2nd quarter. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. Lutz now to kick this one away. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. And Pittsburgh getting set to take the field. These guys had to punt last time. It has not been a very fruitful game offensively thus far. They haven't even made a trip to the red zone. And
I know that everyone's going crazy on that sideline because that drives you berserk to come off the field, not really move the ball well. As you said, not even get to the red zone, let alone, you know, not even put points on the board. They've got to just take a deep breath, relax, try and figure out what is working and call more of that.
Watch the slats. Watch the slats.
Throwing on first is Garoppolo. Is this intercepted? It is. It's intercepted. Picked by Kevon Seymour. And his guys are going to take over at their own 48-yard line.
I'm not sure, Brandon, we've seen a sloppier played game this year for a team on offense. Turn it over 4 times and expect to win? No chance whatsoever. And look, I have no idea what the ratio is about turning over 4 times and how that correlates to winning or losing, but I'll guarantee you it's not very good.
Julian Edelman and the rest of the offense back onto the field now. And I know that they've double-teamed him a couple times, but not a ton. Whatever they're doing isn't working. He's up over 100 yards. We'll see how they adjust.
And when they do that, they weaken their defense in other places as well. And how many times is it? Right. Usually it opens it up for other people to have big games as well.
The offense back out there at the line, ready for their next drive. And this game comfortably in hand. The scoreboard speaks for itself, but you still got your starting quarterback out there. When do you go to the backup? Let him get some time.
And that's one of the great questions in the NFL, Brandon, because I'm just going to tell you, in the 2015 season, I commentated on 3 games in a row. There were blowouts. And in none of them did the starting quarterback ever come out of the game for the team that had a big lead. And in each instance, I asked the coaches later on, why didn't you do that? And they all looked at me and said, just don't really do that in the NFL. You know, these guys play, and we just play them all the way through. Now, in certain situations, they will take them out, but for the most part, They're not as worried and concerned about getting them out of the game, and that's always puzzled me a little bit.
And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. A gain of 26 on the third down conversion. Charles, you said earlier this defense is probably going to need to hold these guys right around 20 or under that if they were going to have a chance. It was evident pretty early on that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, they left 20 behind a long time ago in this game, didn't they? It looks like they're headed towards a big, big number. The 20 was the threshold.
And a big loss here as he's taken down. Leonard Floyd, the old Georgia Bulldog, finding his way into the backfield. And it's never good to take a sack. You really don't want to take one down here in this part of the field down near the red zone.
Not at all, because you're already pretty much assured of a field goal. But you take a big sack, it could push you out of range, and that's why defenses get a little more aggressive in this situation. They're almost conceding the 3 points. They want to push you back and try and take you out of that.
And now they're inside the 10 as he's brought down at the 9. A big gain there after going backwards, and that'll lead to a third down. They have the nice cushion. They just want to pour it on right now, still throwing the football.
And I know my background says, why do you need to do this? Just go ahead and run out the clock and get a win. But as many people pointed out to me, this is a video game, man. Go ahead and put the numbers up. Sportsmanship, not an issue.
Exercise those fingers. On third and short, they'll try and pick it up through the air. Being chased out left. He can run for it, and he will. And he will have the first down before he's brought down at the 3. Maybe not exactly what they had in mind, but that scramble good for 6 and a first down.
Now that's disappointing for the defense. They had the advantage, had excellent coverage all over the field, but they let him get away, scramble, and pick up a first down and inside the 5-yard line.
58's the mic. Down to lose one. Double tight, double tight.
Looking to throw. Mendoza. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up second down. They're still throwing the football here. Now, obviously, the incompletion stops the clock. That's the bad thing.
Feels to me like they're just keeping them honest on defense because you know they're going to stack the line of scrimmage.
And he will take this one in for a touchdown. From 3 yards out as his guys continue to pour it on. There was no going through the progressions on that touchdown pass.
Yeah, nor was it necessary. His receiver won that route early, presented himself. No reason to wait. Go ahead and put it on him and score a touchdown.
Lutz to try to add the PAT. Now this one was over a while ago as they just add on to their big lead. So that drive in total 8 plays.
Will Lutz set to kick off.
After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. This is fielded at the goal line. And he'll take it a yard or so past the 20, call it the 21-yard line. And the Steelers set to take the field. And last time, 1 play interception. So this offense, they should be fresh.
That's a good way of putting it. And I can't wait to see what they decide to do with play calling. Because a 1-play drive where you throw an interception, A lot of people think the very next time out, run the football, don't give them a chance.
Maybe play action?
I think maybe you go play action, show your quarterback, you get a little confidence in him, and let him fling another one.
They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. Von Miller in there yet again. They just cannot block him. He now has 8 sacks, and that is a new single-game record.
Now, we talk about players blitzing all the time. I often laugh and sometimes call it just straight-ahead pursuit. What a running start right back to the backfield for him.
Yeah, it really didn't give anybody a chance to get up there and stop him.
No, I mean, that's really difficult. You're asking a whole lot anyway, but when he gets that kind of a start and comes through clean, oftentimes the advantage definitely goes to the defensive player.
Here's a throw right side taken in by his tight end. And all the way down to the 37. It's a big play there for the Steelers. 47 yards. Now, defensively, I know they have the comfortable lead here in the fourth, but they do not want to give up big plays like that.
They want to finish strong. So oftentimes in this situation, you tighten up underneath in your coverage, and you bring your safeties back. They can pick up anything that leaks through. But in the meantime, upfield, you're making plays on the football.
So how about that for a chain mover? They're all the way down inside the 40 now for 1st and 10. Looking to throw, Garoppolo. And the coverage terrific there as that's knocked down and incomplete. Thomas the intended target, and that'll bring up 2nd down. Just nothing there again. He's been sacked multiple times. We've seen the interceptions, of course. He's really been through the ringer, hasn't he?
And what we've seen is a defense is well coordinated. The front and the back really in sync. The front putting on the pressure, the backside being ball hawks and picking passes off.
On 2nd and 10, Garoppolo throwing for his running back, and he's got him complete. It'll be a gain of 8 yards, and that'll make it 3rd down.
As a passer, you're always trying to find that open window to throw the ball downfield. How about this one? Right in the middle of the field, right in the heart of a defense.
Second down pass play got him 8 yards. Now they've got a 3rd and a couple remaining. Again, they'll throw with Garoppolo. Yeah, that one going to be knocked away and incomplete. It was the veteran safety Malcolm Jenkins who got a hand in there to disrupt it. Well, it just seems like all game long there hasn't been a lot of sync quarterback to wide receiver on this side of the football.
They haven't been on the same page, quarterback and receivers. Heck, they haven't been on the same grease board when you draw plays up. They haven't been on the same surface tablet that you look at on the sidelines. Nothing's worked for them. They've got to find a way to start matching each other's movements.
Well, it's a Pyrrhic victory at best, but, Charles, no team wants to get shut out, so it's hard to blame them for taking the 3 there.
You can't blame them one bit. It hasn't been the best performance, that's for darn sure. But there is something to be said for fighting to avoid the goose egg, and they're at least trying to finish out strong.
This will be taken in at the 1. Fights through, and now a crease. The 40, the 30, 10, touchdown! That'll go down as a 99-yard kick return as his guys continue to put this one out of reach. Well, they're just having fun. I mean, they are clicking on every single cylinder, offense, defense, and here, special teams.
And how about the extension of the lead? This one felt a lot like, you remember Seattle-Denver Super Bowl 48? Percy Harvin to start the second half. Seattle was already firmly in control. Now, they feel like they can't be caught.
Yeah, they are firmly in control right now. Lutz will look to add the extra point. Now this one was over a while ago as they just add on to their big lead. So that one goes down as a 99-yard kick return for 6 from the 1-yard line all the way to the house on the other end. So now the other return teams out there as they'll try to duplicate what they just saw. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And the decision to bring it out is going to cost him about 7 yards all told as he's taken down back shy of the 20. The Steelers offense now, they head back onto the field. And last time able to get 3. It's not what they wanted. They wanted 6, but they got at least something. They mustered something out of the drive.
They'll take it. I like the way you've described it. Not ideal, but they'll take it. Anything to put some points on the board. But this time on offense, they don't even want to see the field goal kicker trot on the field. They want that ball in the end zone.
Yeah, they'll be going for 6. Garoppolo now, first down throw. Looking long for Thomas. And it's knocked away and incomplete. He was trying to hit Thomas that time. That'll bring up second down.
This defense is continuing to contest every deep ball that is thrown downfield. And look, it doesn't matter whether you're playing man or zone. Eventually that becomes man on man. And you've got to trust yourself and go up at that moment of truth and make a play on the football.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on first down. Now Garoppolo. And he's taken down. Back at his own 7. Cam Hayward, always a force, got back there for the sack.
Okay, you know my bias is about to come out here. A lot of people think that the offense is just moving in the wrong direction. I'd say they're moving in the right direction because the defense is pushing them back.
Former defensive guy. Now, as a quarterback, 3rd and long, you really got to rally the troops here, don't you?
Yeah, you do in a big way. And what else do you have to look out for? More pressure coming at you because it seems to be working pretty well.
So the sack of Garoppolo. And now what can they come up with on 3rd and long? Garoppolo. This is complete to Michael Thomas. They get 12 yards back, but it still leads to a 4th and long. A bit of a catch for him to remember. That's number 400 for his NFL career. Not a bad number at all. Here's Brian Anger now as he's on to punt for Pittsburgh. And he gets it away, a directional kick going toward the sideline. And this punt goes out of bounds, and it'll be marked inside the 40. So here are visitors to take over on offense. Well, this ball game certainly has gotten a little out of hand. This is normally when they say you got to fill. This is fill time for guys like you and I. But, you know, to be frank, just a dominating performance. Really impressive what we've seen.
It is, and I'm glad that you went in that direction because otherwise we're going to have to talk about the museum tour we took yesterday.
Which was also impressive.
Which was also very impressive. But this game, how they've done it, offense, defense, special teams, they put it all together. And I got to tell you, I am beyond impressed by what I've seen from this team.
And they'll get this well past midfield before being stopped just before the 35. The extra effort after the catch makes it good for a gain of 26 and also a first down.
Nice play call, a little bit of play action right there. If you can get those linebackers to freeze for just a split second, that's usually all the room you need in order to get it to your tight end.
A fourth quarter score, meanwhile, from Kansas City. The Chiefs continue to add on. They're really rolling. Tom Brady with 3 touchdown passes to help lead the way. Mendoza on first down. Oh, that was dangerous. Threw it into coverage, almost picked, but instead they'll keep it on second down.
It's second down
The incompletion there stops the clock. Any surprise they're throwing here late?
Ordinarily, yes, because you would think enough is enough. They've got plenty of lead, but I've seen this a bunch of times as well. The defense can crowd the line of scrimmage. If you just hand it off inside, you're getting your running back popped a lot as well. Sometimes the defense dictates it. If they're going to crowd it, you may have no other choice but to throw it downfield.
33 yards that time. Boy, another big play late here for an offense, Charles, that certainly has had its fair share of big plays.
Coverage has been a problem all game long, and I would say that going along with that has been confidence. Because even if they had the right coverage, they've still dented them, and now it's been a real issue for them during this game.
60 Pittsburgh. Come on, baby. Come on, let's go.
On the ground, McCaffrey. And he is into the end zone for a touchdown. A 3-yard touchdown run as his guys continue to pour it on.
And now we've hit that stage of the game, partner, where one of our predecessors, one of the great commentators of all time, he used to sing in this situation when this game appeared to be over.
I know the fat lady's been singing for some time.
No, not her at all. This is one of our guys.
But she's singing, too.
Oh, she's singing. She's
on like the 5th tune at this point.
She left Scales way behind, but he used to sing something about turning out the lights. The party was over.
Lutz to try to add the PAT. Now this one was over a while ago as they just add on to their big lead. So that drive, 4 plays. And the last play on the drive, the touchdown run from Christian McCaffrey. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he'll get it up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. The Steelers offense now, they head back onto the field. And with this deficit, you can't have too many more drives like the last drive where you had to punt it away.
You know what I would tell my offense right here? The punter doesn't exist, guys. He doesn't even exist. He's not a team anymore. I just cut him, all right? So you've got to go out and create some offense for us here and give us some points. No way does that guy get on the field on this drive.
Poor punter.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault. But listen,
nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Von Miller in there for a milestone sack. That's number 150 of his great career. Man, he got in there so quickly, Charles. What could the offense have done to adjust and account for that?
But what you're hoping is that you figure out and you see and get a clue that maybe there's going to be some pressure coming at you, and you change the blocking schemes. Maybe you go to max protection. The biggest ones, maybe you bring your running back in to try and keep you clean. But in that case, that didn't happen. Zero accountability, and a sack resulted.
Don't need it all back at once, but you figure they're going to need something here. 17 yards to go on second down. A second down pass play there, but it's incomplete. Jordan Reed was the intended target, and it's third down. Another pass attempt, another incompletion. You figure defensively, you're in the fourth quarter here. You've held the team under 100 yards passing. You've done your job.
Especially in today's NFL, which is truly a pass-first league.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on third down. Garoppolo now. That's complete to his receiver, Pettis. And he'll be stopped at the 27-yard line, well short of the first down marker.
So much about this game is just understanding situations and then having to execute, isn't it? Guard the first down sticks. Don't let them get there. And they rallied and made the tackle.
This is taken at the 18. Good blocking there. Nearly sprung him. As it is, it'll go as a 19-yard return. So here are visitors to take over on offense. We've got a lopsided game here. I don't know, Charles, what does the handbook say that we discuss when we've got a game like this in the fourth quarter?
Hold on a second. Let me thumb to the proper page on that. Know what it says?
What?
Let's discuss how we got here. This is a dominant performance, where they took control of this game, how they've managed to keep control of this game, and then we go ahead and think about how we're going to leave here and get to the airport. In a lopsided blowout, the roads are usually open.
Freeman a first down and more. Breaks the tackle. He's got room to run. 20, 10, and they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals. Starting to really smell a 4-0 start right now. Yeah, can't ask for a better first quarter of the season than that.
And you're not supposed to look ahead, but guess what?
You're going to?
They have to, because when you get to if you get to 4-0, you're not just thinking playoffs now. You're thinking about, okay, this team has the capabilities of winning a Super Bowl. They could very well be the best team in the NFL at this moment.
I think they played the best. I mean, there have been a few hiccups offensively and defensively, but probably the best team we've seen, right?
And has the ability to get better.
Lutz will look to add the extra point. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to their big lead. So they hit pay dirt on just one play. The long run, the scamper, and a very nice scamper into the end zone for the touchdown. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And the decision to bring it out will cost him about 5 yards as he'll get this only back to the 20. Pittsburgh's offense now heading back out onto the field. And they're coming off a 3-and-out, my friend.
I think they've got to look at that play sheet and go to a spot that they haven't gone before. Time to shake things up a little bit to try and get this offense moving.
Okay, so how do you do that? How do you shake things up?
You look at what you've called before, realize it hasn't worked
Go to
so
something
well,
else.
and maybe you try and find one of those special plays from one of your better players, and maybe try and hit something big and get things going in the excitement area.
Garoppolo on first down. Got his man, it's Williams. And he is brought down at the 22 after a gain of 2, and it brings up second down.
Here we go.
From the 22, here's 2nd and 8. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So the Steelers with the football as we get you reset. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. Throwing again on second down. Garoppolo. And he finds the tight end, Reed. Not a big window to throw. Coverage wasn't too bad there.
Yeah, they had him under wraps pretty well, but somehow able to muscle his way open and catch the ball.
Here we go. 51 to Mike.
Garoppolo to throw on 3rd and 1. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Credit the sack to Von Miller.
Whenever you see a team deciding to throw the ball on 3rd and 1, as a defensive player, my mindset is we've got them now, and that's why they dialed up the blitz and got after him.
But occasionally, you want to pass it on 3rd and 1. I mean, not a lot for sure, but sometimes just to keep the defense guessing.
Oh, no doubt. You want to break tendencies as you go along with the game because you don't want them to just say, oh, 3rd and 1, we know exactly what they're going to do. But in this situation, as an offensive lineman, as a running back, I want to know why I didn't get the football.
So they tried to go for it for pride, but it really wouldn't have mattered. This one, it was already determined.
No doubt about it. This one was over a while ago.
So here are visitors to take over on offense. They take over with great field position. They've got the big lead. Most would say they should kneel it, but the key word there is should. You never know here.
You never know. That's the exact play that should happen. But some people like stats. You know, some people like to put more things up on the board, but kneel down is usually the right play here.
We'll see what they do in this situation.
54, Mike, 54, 65, 65, hit it.
Now it looks like he'll throw here. And that's going to be incomplete. Too tough to hold on to that one. It's second down. An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. To throw is Mendoza. Going to throw again. His throw caught at about the 5. And he's brought down. And on that last catch, Charles, he tops the 150-yard mark. It's one thing when your wideout gets that. When your tight end gets it, it's quite another.
We keep seeing the evolution of that position, don't we? We've seen where it's gone from strictly as a blocker to a guy.
Blitz coming, and down he goes. To Sean Gibson. Give him the sack on the safety blitz.
And plays like that really hurt play calling. They had a really nice gain on the previous play, but gave about half the yardage back on the sack. Excellent pressure up front. Nowhere to go with the football. Down he goes.
Flushed out right. He'll run it. And he'll be brought down right on the edge of the goal line at about the 1-yard line. He turned that into a nice gain. Gets him 8 yards closer for third down. But Charles, it's one thing to win. It's another thing to win and put up the amount of points that they did. Boy, were they clicking on offense.
They can't help but feel great about themselves, can they? I mean, what a game to put up that number of points, continually feeling like they're moving the ball and things are working and clicking. They think that they can bottle this and carry it with them.
And as an offensive coordinator, you just don't think you can do anything wrong. Whatever you call, run, pass, it's all going to work.
That's called being in the zone.
So for our visitors, hey, they finish a perfect month of September as they move to 4-0 on the new campaign. And they'll get another road test next week as they head to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. Meanwhile, for the Steelers, they'll drop down to 1-3. And they'll be on the road next week for a matchup with the Baltimore Ravens. And for Charles Davis and our entire crew here at EA Sports, I'm Brandon Gaudin saying so long, everybody.
man down. One phone call, get it dead stop. I feel like I own the season. Say one thing, just give me